Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the United States of America podcast. I am your host, Niti and we are broadcasting live from the Food Church here in North Carolina. If you've missed past episodes, please be sure to take the time to watch the first episode and watch the rest like a documentary. We're a people at peace, and we have declared peace to all nations around the world. This is not a marketing or a promotional channel. We're shining a light on knowledge that's being hidden from you, and we're sharing the truth about your birthright and your inheritance. We have moderators who are assisting us in the comment section. Please be kind and self-govern. And if you have any questions, please put them in all caps and only enter them once per show. I am joined on air today with Jayme Morgan from Idaho, and we are here to address with you guys today some natural healing tips. And today we're focusing on mental health. Welcome, Jayme.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
A little bit tired today from a sleepless night, but we're okay. It's going to be a choice to stay awake.
Hey, this is what we're talking about, right? We're like every day we have to make choices, right? And it's amazing that we actually have free will choice, and it's a real thing, right, Jayme?
It is a real thing. I've seen it in my own life, and I see it with people around me that if you're sick and you choose to be sick and you continue to be sick, you're going to stay sick because it's what's in your head. You got to choose that. No, I'm going to get better. I'm going to heal and I'm going to move forward. Wherever that choice is, when you make that choice and don't stay stuck in it and you move forward, that's when the change begins to take place.
Yeah. And it has to, like deliberate intention is important, right? And I think as moms, people underestimate moms because we could choose that baby. We don't care about the baby. We're going to stay in the bed, but we don't, right? We soldier forward and we go, and I think that, there's a huge argument out there for us being capable of making a choice. A lot of people are really stuck, Jayme, believing that, there's no choices. I mean, I can't tell you how often I hear people say, well, I don't have any other choice, Niti. I don't have it. Do you hear that too?
Yeah, and for all different reasons. Well, I think even with kids, I see that with my kids. Well, I didn't have another choice. Well, yeah, you did, and then you help them problem solve, right? But if it starts when you're young, feeling always like you never had a choice or a voice, you still believe that. That goes back to that belief and perception that you don't. So is it really true you don't have a choice? Is that really your truth? Or do you need to start being truthful with yourself that, okay, my choice may not look like I want it to look, or it may not look like what I think it should look, but it doesn't mean you don't have a choice. And you might need the perception of, and the idea of somebody else coming in and looking at it with you, or whatever that may do, to try, hey, I don't see another option. What do you think? And those conversations can be helpful too. And you may not like what you hear. Someone might say, it's actually this simple. You should just get up and go do whatever. And you're like, oh, my bad, whatever. We all have those moments, or it's like, it's really that simple. That's with my kids sometimes. I'm like, actually, if you just move it out of the way, you have a pathway forward. So sometimes we have to move what's blocking us from moving forward out of the way. And we have to take that away to ourselves. We can't blame anyone else. We can't say it's anyone else's responsibility. It's only ours to make that choice.
Hey, there is nothing happening to you, friends. I hate to break it to you. Nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. And when you finally realize that, that's the moment when you are going to experience a change. And you hear, I think some of the greatest stories that we hear from people are people who are in this moment who, like, I don't remember who that guy was, but I'm sure you may have heard of this man who was stuck in, the canyons over there somewhere out west. And his arm was stuck. And the only way for him to get out was to cut his arm off. And I'm sure he did not want to do it. And also, he was out there rock climbing or something, and he fell, and his arm got stuck between two rocks. And it wasn't even like he could cut his arm off clean and easy.
Of course not.
You know?
For that, you don't prepare for that when you're hiking.
No, I mean, I'm sure whatever he had to do that with was not, but you know, he had to be like, okay, I could just stay here forever. I could be, you know, food for the cougars or whatever mountain thing comes here. Or, you know, or I can go live. And it's incredible the power of your will to live. Mm-hmm. And how your body is constantly fighting for you. But right now we have an entire world of people who are truly suffering with mental illness, because we have an entire world of people who think that depression is an emotion or anxiety is an emotion. This is lies. This is mental illness, 100%. And it is caused by malnourishment. And unless you do something to remedy that, you continue to poison yourself and you can't get out of it. And the other problem with all of the mental illness that's going on is no one can help you. So if you're married, I can't tell you, Jayme, how often I am witnessing and observing a couple who's married and one or the other is so badly malnourished that they're abusing the other one. It could be an emotional abuse. It could be a physical abuse. It could be just neglect or whatever. But there's something there, okay? There's a battle going on. And the other one, the one who's well enough, can't help the other one. And it's even worse if they got babies involved, because then all of a sudden you get CPS and all this other nonsense going on. But we, you know, it's hard, because when you're working with the one who loves the other one, and they're just like, I don't want to cause harm to them. I don't want it to be a problem for them. And at the same time, I can't live with them and I can't handle it. And, you know, whatever it is, I can't do it. So there's this thing going on between them. There's like this tug of war. Do you feel like you observe that as well?
So yes, and I also think part of it is, okay, so you just talked about the fact about the nutrition part of it, and there's the one who's constantly hurting the other one because they're the one who's deprived. So with that affecting the emotional state, and I found this out of my own, for myself actually, a lot of my struggle in relationships and unhappiness was basing my happiness on what that person could do for me to make me happy. Okay, but no matter what that person did, I wasn't going to be happy, because they're not responsible for my happiness. They're not responsible to make me feel better. They're not responsible to make me whatever that looks like. So if I'm not healthy, if my nutrition and everything is out of whack, exercise, sleep, whatever, if all of that's out of balance and I'm feeling off, and I look at my partner and I'm mad at them because I'm not happy, that is where that tug of war begins. So then you attack that partner and expect that from them. And again, that partner can't give you what you need because it has nothing to do with them and it has nothing to do with what they can provide you. Then that's where these tons of relationships are falling apart. And I know this because I've been divorced before. I've been in those relationships before. I know how this goes, okay? And as much as I would love to just say it was all one person and somebody else, when I finally learned that what I had to do for myself, my choice to move forward, my choice to get out of the way, and I had a way forward, it wasn't until then that I was able to be healthy for my children, healthy for myself, and healthy for my spouse. And I see that reflection of myself and others all the time, because you do see them fighting because one is always ill or hurting or mad, and they're looking towards the other one to fix it. And then at the same time, that person trying to fix it is being depleted because they're trying to fix that person, and then they're not taking care of themselves in the process. So now you have two depleted people who are incapable of getting healthy and moving forward.
Or you see the one who is just going to work because they can't even, and the house is falling apart. Mm-hmm. And eventually, you know, there's a breaking point. And then of course, it doesn't help at all that we have this death care system, and you can't, everybody thinks the answer is to get them in on pills. Nobody wants to go do that. The person who's unwell goes somewhere and knows that that's not working, but also there's no way to manage the nutrition. And so you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And again, it ends in, they just have to get away from each other because they're otherwise causing harm. And it's not just even to the other person, it's to themselves too. And I think you can. Yeah. So what can we do? What can we do? If anybody out there who's suffering from something like this, I hope that you might be able to hear us today, where we ask you to think about the fact that, did you know that you could just change your mind? Jayme and I were talking about this before the show, and I said, well, it's just as simple as changing your mind. You can do that faster than going through some 12-step program or something. And Jayme was like, well, Niti, everybody can't just do that, okay? And I was like, okay, maybe not, but
I will share with you really quick. I was one of those, and I want to encourage everybody, because a lot of people are like, well, maybe they think one of us hasn't been in those places. I think I mentioned before I was on 16 medications, 4 of which were mental wellness ones. Okay. They had me on an antipsychotic and all this different stuff. Okay, guys, I'm not crazy. Guess what? I'm not. I had a lot of other things that had to be uncovered and dealt with to move forward, but they kept wanting, because I wanted to get past how I was feeling. And I felt like the only way was to get medicated. I would get medicated, and that medication led to another problem, which led to another problem. Okay. It's a total terrible cycle. But I finally, like you said, I changed my mind and said, hey, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I was finding that what they were giving me wasn't helping. It was making me worse. And I have a whole list of diagnoses they gave me that told me were even incurable. Okay. And that I would be where I am today, and I would have a stroke, and I would not, all these things. You guys, I'm walking, I'm talking, and I'm now, everything on a panel will tell you that my body is healed. Okay. That was from making that choice. So if you are in a place you feel like you really have no way out and cannot move, what we're saying is true. You can move. You have to make that choice. Now, it's not easy, and you're going to have to look within, and you're going to start making these choices and decide and what that looks like. And I was sharing that some of us can't just wake up and say, hey, I'm done, throw all those pills away and move on the next day and move forward. It's not going to work that way. There can be withdrawals involved. There can be, maybe there's a money situation for nutrition to buy proper things. Maybe you're in a bad home that has black mold. I don't know. There's a lot of things that, yes, can make it to where you are going to have a hard road to get where you need to be. But you need to break it down in small amounts. And those small steps can help you, because it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. You can start little and start getting better and keep adding. And that is the one thing I wanted to make sure that we see, that a lot of us come from different backgrounds, different personalities. And some, you're like Chad. Chad can be like, I'm done. And he moves on. And that's it. I'm like, hey, wait, I'm not done. Wait, I got to go through 8 different cycles and 12 different months before I can get there. That's just how I'm wired. Okay. So
me and Chad are like, come on, girl, let's go.
It's that way. Even with my schedule, he's like, you just get in the car and you go. And I'm like, we can't just get in the car and go. I got to pack this. I got to pack that. Okay. Totally just different personalities, but that's okay, because different personalities can learn that there are other ways. And the biggest reason you can't think you can't do that is because of what we've been taught to think and brainwashed, that there's no other way. You can't heal yourself. Right. I had to learn I'm not going to die if I just get in the car not prepared and go take a trip. I'm going to survive. It's probably going to be okay, right?
It sounds like Chad probably took you in a car one time, unprepared, and you had to survive it and go, oh, yeah, because I can say that I've done that to people before, and I've had it done to me before as well. I only am able to do something like that because someone did that to me once before. And I have to say that, just like you, I had 3 autoimmune conditions. Mm-hmm. I was told by the doctors, they told me after I had my first perfect baby that that baby ripped my abdomen in half. and that it was never going to get back together again. It was like ruined and destroyed. And I've actually heard a lot of mothers that were told that, and they were also told at that moment, like I was, that if you continue to exercise or move, you are going to never have any more babies and you might even die. And they literally said that to me in front of my husband. And he was just like, oh my God, like, we can't let you do stuff now because we thought we would never have any other babies. And that was the most horrible thing. You know, you talk about somebody putting some bad words on you. They put those spells and incantations on you.
Yeah.
That's what these doctors do. And you have to reparent yourself out of that. That's what I had to do. I was telling Jayme that there have been many times in my life that I had to get to a moment where it wasn't okay for me to blame my parents, my mom, my deadbeat dad, my, fact that our entire family was on the other side of the planet and nobody was here, or whatever the excuses are, because there's plenty of them to go around. At some moment, I had to just be like, I need to do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's amazing about that, Jayme, is when I said that out loud, then my husband heard me. Then someone in my community heard me. Do you know there was a random couple in our space, in our time-space reality, that they said, you know what? We want you to come with us, because it was also, one of the times that we had to do this was after our daughter died. And one of our food church members, they came over on a Saturday morning and said, hey, come on, we need you to come with us. And we're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we came to get you guys because we are going to take you to our CrossFit gym. And we were like, what? And they said, we just signed you guys up to come with us. So just come on. And, yes. and we were just like, okay, I don't know, whatever it was, it was so kind and so loving in the way that they showed up, and they just showed up on a Saturday, and it was amazing. We went with them, and I was crying at the end of it, because I don't know if you know, but when you are not well and you are made to move, and I was obviously in a deep depression, right? I mean, we just lost a baby, and also I probably wasn't in the best of health also, right? Like a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And when you start moving, it's very emotional. It draws all that emotion out. And then when you have that whole community there, mm-hmm. and they're all like going, yay, go, because that's what it's like at a lot of the CrossFit gyms. You got people going, they're counting with you and they're cheering you on and, whatever. At least that was our experience. I don't know if it's like that everywhere, but it was ours. And you know what, friends, when you guys make a decision that you say out loud, okay, I don't know if I can do this. It's amazing who comes out of the woodwork from wherever, and the gifts that they bring, mm-hmm. And I mean, we're real close with that family today, and we definitely are like, you saved our life, and they were like, no, you saved ours, because they were getting their food from us. And I was like, oh, Anna said something
at each other. That's what's so cool.
Right. Anna literally just said there's a lot of people on this planet right now that have done something for you. You'll never be able to repay them, or vice versa. And I think we've all dedicated our lives, at least the two families, to continuing to just try to, keep paying each other back, that we've taken such great care of each other for the last, 15 years now, and, but there's these people everywhere. And I know that you guys have those people around you too.
We do, definitely. But like what you said, though, I want to share really quick. I'd mentioned I really had studied a lot on this one one pathway that helped me, and one of the main things it talks about, one of the number one things there's 4 things, but the main thing is being impeccable with your words, I've learned. So again, that's whether that's self-talk of I can't get better, I can't move forward, or I can get better and I can move forward. Those words, like you said, are spells or pathways to energy. So vocalizing that you need help or you're in a place that you're not so sure where to go and asking for it brings those people. It brings that other energy. It reconnects you. You know, that's how the assembly works. When you get going, all of a sudden you're meeting up with people who are like, oh my goodness, I've known about this, but I didn't know how to get there, because you're speaking it in. So when you think about that, though, when you're speaking, I'm always sick. It's just my condition. The doctor said, my children just can't behave. You're speaking that and promising that's all that you're doomed to or they're doomed to, okay? When you start even saying, even in your head, because obviously these aren't always spoken out loud, you're like, oh my goodness, my child today. But you can be like, okay, my child is growing. My child needs help. I need to find the best way to get them there. Instead of speaking naturally, like, I don't know what to do with my child today. He's making me crazy. Because there's words will send the energy to them as well as out there to provide an opening to how you're going to get there. That pathway will open up and show itself to you, but you cannot see it if you're closed by saying internally, I'm never going to get there. I'm not deserving. I don't know how. I'm doomed to this the rest of my life. Just like you would have been in that same place. You opened yourself to those people coming to you. When they spoke their truth to you, you took it and you did it. What do you think would have happened if you hadn't gone?
We don't want to know. I mean, it was like
a step in the future of your healing.
Right.
You know? And then on the second
when you were just like, oh my gosh, my husband and I actually that evening, we prayed together and cried together. And we were just like, can you believe how much they love us that they came over?
That's cool.
You know, like
cry.
No, it was crazy. We were just like, oh my goodness, like what happened? Look at what happened today. And then, you know, that's that moment where you're just like, oh, I can't stop because I can't even believe these people care that much. Then how can I care less than them? That's crazy, you know? And I encourage all of you to know that, you know, you matter and you're so important. And, you know, we want you to know that you need to, you know that there are so many people that are counting on you, that are looking forward, even though somebody who doesn't know you at all, that just sees you somewhere that you don't realize that they see you. Mm-hmm. You don't realize that they are like, oh, that lady's always checks her mail around this time of the day, or that somebody always peeps out their door or their window, or they always open their curtains a certain way. I mean, even if you never leave your house, you don't know what people are noticing about the way that your space is changing and how that makes a difference for anybody else, you know? And I know that I'm always counting on this one lady who walks in my neighborhood and she's always coming by at a certain time. I mean, if that woman never came by, I would be wondering, where is she? You know, like what's going on? She's usually something's wrong. Yeah. You know, there's always something like that going on. You have no idea who you're connected to and how that's affecting them and what that's doing for them. You know, it's really, really important. And I really hope that you'll always think about what we're saying and choose to, you know, if you're here still breathing, you know, I'm always like, well, I'm still here. I must have something to do, you know, right. I must have to, like that man who was hanging there in the rocks. He wasn't dead.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, well, I can't just stay here and be stuck, you know, and I have to do something. And you might just be laying in the bed thinking that right now. First, I think you need to know that your creator is not up there somewhere out in the universe going, look at him or her. They just still in the bed. Are they ever going to get out of, you know, no one's saying that. Nobody's saying anything, you know? And also nobody's mad and nobody's upset and nobody's judging and no one's even coming. that's the thing, you know, but hopefully you're going to just, if you only just think, okay, today I'm going to get up. Okay, today I'm just going to go wash my face. You know, okay, I'm just going to do something else. Okay, I'm just going to decide I don't feel like doing this anymore.
Yeah. A lot of times it's very small like that. Very simple, very small, but it's that change that will lead to one thing to another. And you talked about anxiety and depression being also nutritional wise, but did you know that it's very linked to gut health, right? So back to the food nutrition part, our gut is all connected to that. It's like 90 something percent of serotonin level is actually in the brain is affected by your stomach. So
well, it's that brain gut connection. People don't comprehend this because they've had us go to different doctors for different things. But guess what? There's like this one whole body, and it's just the one. And all of it is connected to each other. And the distance between here, the base of the neck, and the spine, and your stomach is not that far. And that head gut connection is 100% real.
So changing that gut and the good bacteria, bad bacteria, all that is huge, as well as your stress, which leads to the chronic stress, which can cause that imbalance. So you have a lot tangible there. So what your friend did was pretty amazing, because getting out and being moving, even just getting out of the bed, washing your face, those movements change the stress that's going on and the balance in the stomach. It's already been proven that people that work out, it's more effective than being on drugs for depression and for anxiety and all that stuff. But that's because the body's operating like it should. It's moving things through the gut. It's cleansing out those toxins. Now, you can't just do one thing and not the other. You can start taking it one piece at a time, take what you can, get that under control, and then the next one. But there is building from a foundation. So once you start moving or eating right, whatever, you got to then do the other as well, because you can go work out and get all the stress toxins out and then go home and eat crappy and put it all right back in. And
or
day one.
or I've had people, Jayme, who I've had to coach, and they can't move because there's so much pain. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you're that guy, if you're the one who's like, I can't move, because you're talking about working out like it's fun, it's painful, I can't move. Okay. Guess what? Nowadays, there's actually for $30 or $40 on Amazon. I know we don't really like Amazon, but anyway, on Amazon, there is a vibration plate. It's a vibe plate. It's only 30 or 40 bucks. Okay. If you order that vibe plate, then it actually will help your body. Like, it kind of just shakes and gets your blood going. Okay. When you can't move, all you got to do is find something to hang on to and stand on that thing, or you can sit and put your feet on it, and it'll help get things moving. Okay. And another thing is, you know, Jayme and I were talking about, okay, a lot of folks think they can't afford the best nutrition. Well, fasting is also a way to manage that. Also, not poisoning yourself. Also, you know, what you can do is decide, okay, I mean, if you literally only have $20 a month, which I think people have more than that, but if you did, you could still go to a farmer, or you could just decide, I'm only going to use this to buy $20 of the most cleanest thing that I can find, and not M&Ms or whatever, sugar on sugar. You know, you can make a decision, and you can decide, try to get the most nutrient dense, you know, thing that is going to be most filling. A lot of people think getting a whole bunch of plants is more filling than a little bit of meat. And that's just not true. You know, I think that it's interesting, you know, if you're really, really, really on a tight budget and you take one chicken, like one whole bird, and you cut it all up, and every time you cook a part of it, cook it bone in, make broth with a lot of water. That gives you a whole, like 2 or 3 quarts of bone broth. That in and of itself is more nutrient dense than even eating just the chicken by itself. And so if you are on some kind of budget and you take any bone-in meat, beef, chicken, pork, whatever, and you make stews out of it instead, then you end up with a whole bunch of bone broth. And that bone broth is highly nutrient dense and it's a lot more filling. And if you have that and real good salt, you can actually, if that's all you spend your money on is bone-in meat and water, clean water and salt, then that's a cheap, easy way for you to do a simple nutritional something and have a vibe plate until you can stand up and go and do something else. But there's a way to crawl before you walk.
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's interesting you mentioned the bone broth too is very healing. I've struggled with stomach issues from all those medications and different things, and every now and then I'll get a flare up. And one of the best ways to make that feel better is to only sip on bone broth. It is so healing, and it brings everything back into balance, and it really helps that start to calm down. And that's just one of a million things it can do good for. But it's right. It doesn't take much. And again, it goes back to those choices, the plate, like you mentioned, or even just starting to just only do arm movements. They don't have to be weighted. You don't have to and it can be, okay, I can only do 3. Okay, great. Do 3 for a few days and only add 1 more. You don't have to double it. You can go to 4 and then go to 5. None of this has to be extreme. And I think that goes back to that all or nothing. Well, if I can't go to the gym or I can't lift 100 pounds worth of weight, then I'm not working out. You don't have to
be bouncing on the side of the bed, Jayme, right?
Yeah, that's movement. That is great. Like there's so much of that. That goes back. It's vibration, which is healing, So there's a lot. And I think we've been taught that for so long that you're not working out if you're not dying. You're not working out if you can't get up the next day because you're so sore. That's not active. That's totally not truth. That is lies again. Mm-hmm. A mom who is working, cleaning, taking care of kids and is moving does not also have to feel that she has to dedicate 8 hours a week to the gym. It's not even humanly possible. I'm not going to lie. Yes, if you make that choice, you're more than welcome. Go for it. But you're dying on the way there and on the way back and depleting yourself because you think in your mind what you're doing at home is not enough. That is an all or nothing mentality. And it's got to change because you will break. That goes back to the mental part that they're feeding, the emotional distress, and then you're unhappy, and then you're fighting with your spouse, and you're fighting with your kids, and you see that whole cycle again we've talked about more than once. It loops you in, and you got to get off, and you got to stay off. My friend tells me the best thing. When I'm having a day, she reminds me, friend, the struggle bus is real, and all you have to do is get off. What are you doing?
Get off. Yeah.
Why are you running around singing songs, whatever you're doing, complaining? Get off the bus. There's not a stop. Jump out the window. I don't know what it's going to take you, but get off the bus. So
100%. Hey, and Jayme, you've got that gorgeous baby. You can lay on the floor, put the baby on your legs, and rock her back and forth and push her up with your legs and down. And what a great exercise to rock on your back with the baby. This is why moms and babies are supposed to play on the floor. It makes the baby happy. The baby loves it. The baby wants mama all the time, or whatever. Mom has the baby. Mom's rocking around with the baby. That's perfect amount of weight to be able to have to do all of that with, and moving around on the floor with the baby, rocking the baby, rolling around, this is an exercise. It's natural movement, right?
We were laughing, so I'll lay back and do leg exercises. Well, she lays back and does them too.
Yeah.
And we just laugh because she's been mimicking me, and then every now and then she'll do it by herself, and we ask her, "Are you doing your yoga?" And she just giggles and starts doing it again. It's great. It's great.
Right. And we're teaching them that it is normal. It's okay. Get on the floor and move around, and making that, go. The other part of this is people have been villainizing salt. Well, we're electrical beings, and there's some basic things. If you go into the hospital, the only medicine they have for you there is a variety of salt. That's all that they have. So, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate. It's only a variety of salts and baking soda and silver. That's all they have to save your life with, okay? So when someone wants to villainize salt and say you can't, they used to have salt wars. And that was because that's how important it is for you to live and not die, okay? So when people say to me, Jayme, they can't afford to eat well, I'm like, I'll believe that when we don't have crack addicts anymore, okay? Because if a crack addict can go find and pay for crack because they can, you can too. You know,
that goes back to a choice, right?
If free will choice.
All of us, because anyone's always broke to pay their bills, but I have to say I can't help when those person's telling me they're broke and they're always got a soda in their hand
or a cigarette
or a Coke or something. There's always something,
or a beer or a vape.
And that's hands. I'm like, well, you always make it to where you can afford that. You can choose, but again, it's a choice of what you want in your life. Right. It's interesting you mentioned the salt actually too, because I have had a few friends at different times ended up at the hospital for one reason or another, like thought they were having heart problems, breathing issues, and almost every time, you know what it is? They're dehydrated. Yeah. So what do? They put them on a salt IV. That's all that is. The saline, which is salt water. And they're better and they feel amazing. So it goes back to depletion.
Magnesium deficiency. 99% of mental illness, also, just fun fact, is magnesium deficiency, because you need the salt to make the electrical connection and you need the fat. And so eating butter and salt is a big, big deal. And if you can't afford anything else, salt and butter. Can you afford salt and butter? It has to not be margarine. Make it real butter. I don't care if it's the cheapest butter. I just need it to be real butter. Like it should say cream and salt on the butter. And that's all. Like that's it. Just the cream and the salt, you know, and get salted butter and just eat it.
Yeah.
It's food, you know. I mean, when folks are like, I can't afford whatever, I'm like, that's nonsense. You can go and get a roll of ground beef from wherever you can go to get it from. It doesn't even matter. Now, you know, quality, of course, we want to get the better quality whenever we can. But if you're telling me you can't afford anything, and so what? Because of that reason, you're going to go eat at Subway or something? I'm sorry. Subway is way more expensive than that log of beef that could feed you so many meals.
It goes back to, what do you really want? So I'm going to ask all of you. We talked about living in the now. And when you're saying you're sick and you're telling everybody you have all these things, and then someone even offers you advice, like we're telling you, go eat butter, and you're like, no, I can't do that. Then you're telling me that you don't want to get better. Okay. And that's okay. You still have the choice to make that. You have that free will. We are allowed to have free will. If you do not want to be better and you want to be sick and you want to be miserable and you want to keep feeling like this, you are allowed to. It's not a punishment. There's no punishment to feeling that way. But when you decide you don't want to, or you are vocalizing you don't feel that great and you want something to change, you really need to self-evaluate. What does that change look like? And what can I do today? And what can I trade? What can I not buy so I can buy the butter? What can I not buy so I have salt? What can I not buy so I do this? What can I stop doing the daytime so I can move? Like, what are those little tiny choices? And start off small, and I can guarantee it will change. Now, you also can't do this twice this week and then call us back and say, I did that. I don't feel any better. Hate to tell you too, it takes a little bit of consistency.
Hey, I will say this. Don't tell us nothing. We don't care. Hey, I got t-shirts that say we don't care. Okay. And I mean it, because we can't care. We can't help you. We can only walk beside you. We can't carry you. We can't do it for you. We can't. That's why we're not judging you. That's why we're not judging you, friends. And anybody who you think is judging you, they're not. They're judging themselves, and they're trying to make it look like they're trying to make it better for themselves. They're not trying to do it for you. Anybody who you have that's judgy around you, you could go ahead and maybe cut them off, because that's your cutoff game probably needs to be a little stronger.
That goes back to point number 2, is making assumptions on others or your own self, and assuming that people think something of you, which is your own projection, or assuming things without communicating clearly with somebody, the assumption. I had to laugh. I was working one time and my friend shared with me what her mother used to tell her when she'd come home from school. She'd come home and be like, dude, so-and-so I know was talking about me in the, whatever, in the cafeteria, whatever. And her mom would look at her and go, I'm just surprised you think you're so important that they're talking about you. Like, it's that simple. Like, do you really think that you're so important? Let's talk about the ego getting in the way of truth. Are you thinking you're so important that everyone's going to get off and judge you about what's going on? And I've fallen trapped to that too. I've gone places and left feeling, I don't know, off because I was so worried about what everybody thought. And that's all I could focus on, when I can guarantee no one even gave a crap what I was wearing or what color my hair is or whatever, So, and if you have those type of people that are so wrapped up into doing that, you have to remember that's them, that's on them, that's their thing, that is their insecurity being placed on other people because they're not happy with themselves. And they might see in you something that they want to change on themselves and they don't even know how. So.
Yeah, we have to give everybody grace, the benefit of the doubt. We have to realize that 99% of people are so worried about themselves being able to make it through whatever the event is. They're not paying attention to you at all. Like, they don't know. They have no idea what you were wearing or whatever. And if they do, if they had that energy to do that and actually say something, then they're just petty. So there's that part, I think that we've gone over. I don't think that you guys can have a reason not to choose yourself. Is that true, Jayme? Have we kind of?
Yeah, and I don't know, as moms, some of the brainwashing obviously is we've been always taught to serve others so much at the detriment of ourselves, especially as moms. You always eat last. You always, make sure everything's clean when you're tired. And I think sometimes you have to remember that putting yourself first is not selfish. And putting yourself first is not wrong. And you can love yourself enough to say, no, this is important enough that I need it for me. And then I can be a better mom. I can be a better teacher. I can be a better spouse, whatever, a better employee, whatever your life looks like. You can be a better dog owner. I don't know, like whatever's important to you. You're better off for those around you if you decide that this is not selfish of me to want to meditate. It's not selfish of me to take a nap. It's not selfish of me to want to eat better so I can feel better.
Mm-hmm. Actually, they require you to do that in the event of an emergency on a plane. They tell you, you must put your mask on before you try to put the other people's masks on. Hello. And I think it's all, it's interesting. The corporatocracy, they want you to make yourself first when you're trying to save other people. And that is all the, immediate emergency medical training, like everywhere across the board. But when it comes to you day to day, you're selfish if you take care of yourself. I mean, I think you really need to forget that. Like, delete that from your programming immediately. And you should just turn it off. That's something I think that's easy for everybody to just be like, oh yeah, I don't like that one either. Boop. That is a dumb one. Bloop. And if you were to flip that switch, another thing, an exercise that I had a situation with my son. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. Boys, they don't talk all the time. Boys don't talk as much as girls do. Sometimes they do. I mean, I know there's some guys that do, but mostly boys don't talk that much. And my son went through a time where he was just really frustrated, and I could tell he was just not going to just tell me how he feels. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, Jayme? Where you're just like, I just need to know how you feel. Okay. Yeah. And he kept making these bad choices. And I think that he expected for us, like me and his dad, to just like come rain down on him or something, and we wouldn't. We just never would do that. He never couldn't understand what. And so I was always trying to talk to him, right? Well, one day I said, I need to talk to you, plan to be here and blah, 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 blah. We have this meeting, right? And so he came and he was already armed and, ready for me to just lay it on him, and I handed him a really pretty journal. And I had one too. I got an identical one. And I said, I want you to sit down. And I gave him one and I kept one. And I said, for the next 30 minutes, I want you to write down what you want and why you want it. And I'm going to do the same thing. And we're just going to sit here. And that's what we're doing right now. And I didn't say anything else to him. I just started writing. And he didn't do anything for a good little while. And all of a sudden he started. And he was going and he was going. And I kept going. I said 30 minutes, but I just wanted to see what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And I kept going as long as he kept going. And 2 hours later, he's like, can I stop now?
It's like I got cramps in my hand.
And I was like, I don't know. Can you? And he's like, oh, I think so. I said, okay, well, do you feel better now? And he's like, what? And I said, I don't know what is bothering you, but me and your dad are about over it. Okay. But hopefully you kind of know something that you want to do now, and you know what you want and you know what you don't want. And I said, and when you're ready to talk about it, you just let us know. You're excused. And I let him go. Right.
That's awesome.
And he was just like,
what just happened?
I know. He was just like, what happened? And I said, well, get your book. And, he thought I was going to make him like, let me read it or something. I said, that is yours. I'm never going to look at it. It's between you and you. I said, you have a choice every day to do something or not. And I encourage you to spend some time with your book every day until you can feel better. And then tell us what you want. And I think it might have been a week later. And he was like, Mom, can I talk to you? What?
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, sure. And it really just opened up, dialogue. And then he realized that we're here to help and support. But we can't read your mind, brother. Like, we don't know, But I think a lot of people feel that way. And listen, I didn't have a parent who was able to do that for me. And we're just doing for our babies what our parents didn't know to do for us. Okay, you guys, because we're entering this age of Aquarius and we're exiting the age of Pisces. And that age was the age of chaos and confusion. Okay, so our parents did not have the education, the information, the truth, the facts and the support, okay, to be able to do all these things that we're able to do now. And as we enter this new age, instead of us sitting around, feeling any kind of way about what happened, I encourage all of you to get your own journal and write down what you want and why you want it, and just keep writing it until you're able to feel comfortable talking about it. And when you feel good, because you're going to have those thoughts that you're putting down on paper, but you're making it an action. You're having a thought, you're feeling some kind of way about it, and you're putting it out there. And if you keep doing that, what you're going to find out is what you write, it manifests, it comes true.
Goes back to the words, like I said, whether it's thought, whether it's spoke, whether it's written, you're writing out that confidence, and you'll start to feel confident. You'll start to feel healing. It goes, some people call it shadow work, journaling. If you don't know what to do, there's journal prompts out there. You can get online. There's journal prompts for all different topics. I give them to my children and help them too. And even whether you have kids or not, and you're trying to parent them differently, in the process, this goes back to reparenting ourselves. Some of us are having to reparent ourselves and show up for ourselves for maybe places that we didn't get when we were little, and we're learning them now. But yeah, for the young people around us, the other adults our age, those that are older than us, let's reparent one another and help each other. And like I said, if you don't want help, she might have said we don't care, but if you do want help, I really do care.
No, we do care. The problem is we can care too much.
If you're stuck and you're like, hey, I don't know, and you really want to know, and you're willing to listen, and you're willing to apply, we are here for you. We will walk you through, give you suggestions, send you email information, whatever, to help you get there. Because I had friends, she had a friend, I had a friend. Both of us have had people that have come by our side during hard times that have gotten us in a better pathway to where we are now. But we weren't always there. We were where a lot of you are sitting right now, again, in your head thinking, I cannot get healthy. I can't get off the meds. I'm going to die if I don't. Whatever you're telling yourself, those lies have got to go. Get rid of that first. Move on that first step. And if you do need help, reach out to somebody who's willing to help you. There's people in your community. You have friends. We're available. I don't care if you live in Florida and I've never met you before. I don't care if wherever you are, you can reach out. There are ways for us to connect and help you get you where you need to be.
100%. Everybody should feel comfortable doing that and asking. And, asking it is given.
Mm-hmm.
Asking it is given. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But when you're writing that stuff, if it was painful, it was good. It came out, right? Mm-hmm. You can take those things that are painful, rip them out and burn them.
Heck yeah.
And the minute that you decide and you release that, it's done. Your feet are facing forward, friends. Our feet face forward. We don't need to stay living in the past and remembering all that stuff. No, you don't need to keep going to the rapist, the therapist, the rapist who's making you talk about something over and over and over again. That's not
you locked in for sure. It goes back to being in the now. The now the healing starts. If you're not in the back and you're not worried about the future, you're living in the moment. And when you think about your past not having options and the future's unseen and you don't have options, that's why you think there's no options. But today in the moment, you have an option. Which cup do I drink my tea out of? What tea do I want? What salt do I need? That's in the now, in the moment, totally available. And then we're not asking you to pick which disease to heal first. We're not asking you how much weight you want to lift by next week. I'm just saying today, can you go put salt in your water because you want to feel better? One thing right now in this moment, and you've already made a move forward to change.
And on that note, I will say, don't just drink salty water because you could die. Okay. Take a pinch of real salt, put it on your tongue, and then drink some water behind it, or buy some unflavored Relight by Redmond's and put that in there and only maybe have it once a day. Okay. Don't have it a whole bunch of times a day because you can also overdo that. Just, so, we want to make sure you're doing this safely and taking care of yourself. But, because, you tell people to put salt in their water. I've watched them, Jayme. They'll take like a lot. And it's not Kool-Aid. You can't put a bunch of it in there like Kool-Aid. But just to have
it might be too much. You might want to cut back.
Yeah, just a pinch on your tongue. Also, it's amazing. A pinch of salt on the tongue can stop a headache. It can release your sinuses. You don't really know how powerful it is and until you try. Okay. And just make sure, that what you're doing is like a real salt. You don't want something iodized or that has some kind of, make sure it's real. It's salt.
There's a product you can order. And I hate to say Amazon, but it's called Keto Chow. It sounds funny, but it's a little bottle. Mm-hmm. It's actually from the Great Salt Lakes, close to hereby, and it's got magnesium and salt. It's all put in a little dropper, and you can it tells you how much dropper safely to put in your water. Even something like that's already ready to go if you're a little unsure of how much to use. Start with that until you know what works for you. It's super easy. It's not super expensive. A lot goes on. The little bottle lasts a long time. You can just a little bit in your drink and stuff like that. There's things like that available out there too that you can utilize that can help you as well.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like the Redmond's Relight or the Keto Chow. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of these different ones. So we can put a couple of links in for you guys. I mean, whichever way you want to go with that, knock yourself out. And if you were to take some homemade pickles or Bubby's pickles, take a little pickle juice and put a quarter teaspoon of salt in like a little bit of pickle juice, and then like drink that at 7 p.m. It actually matters. It's a circadian thing. If you do it at 7 p.m. and then just drink water behind it, like just plain, clean, distilled water behind it, it will help reset your circadian rhythm. It'll help to get your nighttime hormones going. You want to turn off all the white lights, or manage your light. We can talk about circadian rhythm and a whole bunch of other things, but just know that all of these things affect what's going on. And being inside all the time in the bed, why don't you take a blanket or something and go lay down outside? Be lazy on a hammock or a chair, but if you do it outside, if all you do is leave the bed and go outside and lay down, and you do that every day and just lay down outside instead of inside. I don't care if you lay down outside with a whole bunch of covers. It's fine. If you do that, you will start getting better just because you're outside.
And going into summer with those of us that have kids on summer break, that's a great thing to tell them. Like, if you want to be lazy today and lay down, that's fine. But you can do it outside. Take your book, go whatever, go lay in the grass, because just laying in their bed, especially with teens and preteens, that's a real dangerous window that they start to have to battle what we're battling now. And if we can teach them differently now, then their whole adult life is going to be a whole lot better for them.
Yeah. Throw them out. Throw them outside, not out of your house, but just out. I mean, you don't have to throw them out like you just want to put them outside.
Best way to handle a teenager: go spend time in the sun, go ride your bike, go read outside. Like, it's the best way to get through the teen years, because they are not an easy pathway. It's a hard road. But we can teach some of these things, but part of it's also not allowing some of that stuff. You can't lay in your bed all day, bud. Sorry. I love you when I say you can go outside and sit in the sun, you can go whatever, be active, but you can sleep at night if you're tired or if you're sick. I get that. But otherwise, there's no reason why you don't have to feel energetic. You don't have to go work out, but I do need you to go sit somewhere in a better place. Yeah.
Yeah. Go lay down outside. I don't care if you want to go lay on the grass, if you want to do whatever, but you're not going to do that in front of me inside. And it will change their whole attitude. It's amazing what they figure out what to do when you put them out like that, because they will figure stuff out. And all of a sudden they're real busy. Right, Jayme?
Well, especially if you tell them, if you come back inside, I'm going to give you chores to do. So you can choose. All of a sudden, they're busy and they have nothing else. They have nothing to ask me.
I know. I'm like, oh, are you back? Like, are you sure you want to do that? Yeah. Anyway, I think we covered, I don't know, free will choice is a real thing. Changing your mind. It's something you can do, and you don't even have to move a muscle to do it. But like Jayme said, you could just move little muscles and just get moving. Did you know how powerful your hands are?
Oh, hands, feet, all the little things.
Yeah, but your hands, there's healing. Did you know these are healers? There's a whole healing hand thing. You could be laying in the bed, sparking up energy, getting it. You can feel the energy between your palms if you lay real still and focus on it. And then you can put hands on your body and heal pain. Did you know that?
I think a lot of people don't know that. And that's so important. And if you have a spouse or whatever, or your children, you can do it to them as well. I mean,
they can do it to you.
Do so much. There's so many little things, you guys, and your hands don't cost anything. We have those. We all have them fully free. Yeah. But I really hope we've encouraged all of you to still make one choice to move forward. And I'm really excited because I really hope you can understand that you are not permanently ill. You are not permanently incapable. What's happening to you is not just happening to you and doesn't have to continue to happen to you. Get off the bus. Get off
the bus. I like it. Get off the crazy train.
For real.
It's true. Or get off the ship, right?
Get off whatever you're stranded on. Yeah.
Get off the citizenship. Huh?
You don't have to participate.
Nope. You don't have to consent. Well, you guys, I'm taking a break from Exit Stage Left just for the month of May. We have a lot of trips and different things going on. I got a lot of preparation I'm doing and a lot of family stuff going on. But Jayme and I are going to be back next week. And I don't know yet what we're going to talk about, but I think we'll figure something out. Jayme, you have something in mind? I don't know.
I don't.
Well, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Or maybe you guys will tell us. I don't know. But we will be back with some more healing tips. I know Jayme's got something going on the end of the month. And so I'll be back on with Hudson for the last 2 weeks. And then it's just exciting time. We're walking into summer growing season. I don't know what's going on out where you're at, Jayme, but we got strawberries and asparagus coming in. What you got?
We're Idaho. There's not a whole lot going on yet.
Yeah.
Potatoes are starting to sprout a little bit, but and asparagus is popping up in the canal areas. But that's all we got so far.
All right. I don't know, man. I don't know what people have, out there. I know that's the big deal over here right this red hot minute. And we'll be walking into some blueberries and out of strawberries pretty soon. So that's about what's going on here, you guys. And I will look forward to seeing everyone and you, Jayme, next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Great.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Oh.